Good afternoon, everybody. I call this talk A Canadian in America, Part 2. At the January edition of BitcoinDay in Naples, this past January, I spoke about what's in a name, about being a pathfinder, or one that discovers a way, about why our company was named Amerigo Farms. Today I want to talk to you about what's in a man, and three most necessary ingredients. Adventure, the first absolutely necessary ingredient. We all think of it. Many begin with the journey, but ill-prepared or half-hearted fail to complete. Some, through stubbornness, sheer effort of will, skill, or just being in the right place at the right time, managed to achieve what was originally in mind. Throughout today's video, you will notice a young and smiling giant waving to the camera. An old photo for sure from June 1955. The last photograph his parents took of their only child. He on board a ship called the Big Bear, about to set sail for Canada, perhaps never to be seen again. Those parents were my grandparents, and that young man is my father, Peter Albers. An adventure for an adventurer. The 8-day North Atlantic crossing was no picnic before docking in Halifax. You may recall the largest man-made explosion in world history to that time took place there in 1917. Settling on a farm in Ontario, living in a converted chicken coop, my dad was beginning his dream. 22 years old with $15 in his pocket, he was ever fond of telling us that story. Who among us at that young age would think this a risky course of action? What could go wrong on a North Atlantic crossing? Other than a warm welcome in your chosen faraway land, would you expect to receive? Being labeled a DP, or displaced person, by his new countrymen was certainly strange. Leaving Europe for the promised land, an easy choice, and fear, that's for timid souls. That's good. Risk, the second ingredient. In today's financialized world, we think of risk as a measure of reward against a fiat bet of some sort. In my father's time, risk was measured against muscle and sheer determination. And to measure any obstacle could be overcome with a plan born of conviction and a measure of faith in oneself, and for him, in God. Being able to trust in a higher power and then rest after another dawn to dusk effort was his foundation. Today, we are told to trust in experts and systems they claim to measure for our benefit. Linda and I began our adventure in America in 2007, not to risk it all, but to see if our plants would grow even more beautiful in the state where the sun shines for free. Quickly did our bankers discover a clause in our covenants that put us offside. And then even quicker than choke point 2.0, our banking privileges were revoked. Another bank had been courting us, so the transition was seamless. The risk of loss averted. The sun kept shining. We gained customers, dedicated staff, excellent suppliers, tradesmen, and forward-thinking financiers. Our business flourished here in the free state of Florida. Indeed, we have grown 20x. No risk, no reward. Terror, the third ingredient. When your worst fears are realized, or is it when you cannot even imagine the situation where you find yourself? For myself, a farmer, despite surviving bouts of fire, pestilence, and plant disease, I was not ready for COVID. Of the many deadly actions of 20th century governments against their citizens, I never imagined what could be done in this modern and enlightened age, especially in America. Terror I never felt until I heard our daughter Joanna's breaking voice from her basement apartment in Canada, where she lived alone, unable to teach her students, visit family, or meet up with friends. Terror from being unable to visit her. Only grateful for the telephone and daily connection. And then dumping hundreds of thousands of plants as our customers canceled orders for Easter. But we kept planting new crops on sheer faith that this too would pass. And then being deemed a critical supplier because we sold to grocery and home improvement. Many small business owners across America never made it through. The government giveth and taketh away. May God have mercy on the bureaucracy. Linda was ever so happy we were here in this free state of Florida. Her instincts were, I would not have survived almost anywhere else. Since becoming a Bitcoiner in early 2022, the name Ross Ulbricht has been in my mind. He began his adventure developing the first website to utilize the Bitcoin payment network. Grave personal risk he took in continuing this enterprise, maintaining anonymity while knowing the government was tracking him down. We were in Las Vegas and heard him speak of his experience about receiving the incredulous and harsh sentence of 2 life terms, plus 40 years, knowing then that you will never be free and will die behind bars. The sound of the cell door banging shut, the moments when you awake and realize where you are, these for me would be sheer terror. And yet, Ross persevered, living each moment as a small victory against a system that once you were within its walls, you cease to exist. The smallest bit of dignity, of respect, of value at the whim of the warden and guards. But for the efforts of his wife Caroline and Lynn, his mom, and legions of Bitcoiners and free citizens, he received a full and unconditional pardon from President Trump on January 21. The next day, he was a free man, a new beginning, a new life, walking out of prison with a few belongings and a pepper plant of all things. May his victory be our victory too. Thank you. So you'll notice on your tables, you have, if you see on the screen, is it up there now? The pepper plant with that Ross? So in those cups, in those beautiful travel mugs, country mugs, don't they call them, Linda? Camping mugs is a pepper plant. So please grab one, take it home with you, plant it outside in beautiful Florida sunshine, and in about 1 month, you'll have beautiful orange peppers to have with your lunch. So a small way for us to remember the challenges that that young man went through. And as well, the additional plants that you see, the tropicals that are aligned everywhere, and the calla lilies, and the planters, you're welcome to take these home with you upon your return tonight. Thank you very much.